Northern Virginia, our community. A veritable high-tech mecca, a region that is located in close proximity to the nation's capital and home to federal agencies that have spawned a robust economy built on technology, engineering, and science. Yet, in a region that is the epicenter of the internet, carrying roughly 50% of the world's internet traffic, a metro area of over 2.5 million people that offer some of the brightest minds in science, engineering, and technology. Northern Virginia's 500,000 children have no science, engineering, and technology museum designed specifically for them. Although we have the nation's finest formal education system, how can we expect our region to remain a leading technology center, to rise to compete with areas like Silicon Valley, if we do not have the comparable infrastructure for informal learning needed to excite and enlighten the next generation? Understanding this need, one Northern Virginia nonprofit organization is building a children's museum in the region to be known as the Children's Science Center, a world-class facility to meet the challenges of inspiring America's children to pursue careers in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need to attract the brightest minds into STEM disciplines at a much greater rate than we do now. Orbital Sciences Vice President Dantani comments from his unique perspective as a Northern Virginia parent and former NASA astronaut.
My brother was studying engineering, and he was sort of my mentor, my role model growing up. He gave me a little science kit when I was young, and I would say that was my real influence. Of course there were heroes, and of course I wanted to fly in space, and of course I wanted to ride in the rocket, but I had no real concrete thought that I could ever do that. Many children now can look at astronauts and think, well, I would like to pursue that as a career, maybe fly in space. So as a parent, I think my children's future is dependent on them being technologically conversant.
The ticket to that future is our children. And a lifetime of excitement in science begins in childhood.
It's really important to expose children to STEM education early on when their natural curiosity is still kind of the driving force of their exploration of the world.
My interest in my specific field started when I was really young, like in 4th grade. I started doing bacterial growth experiments in different types of milk. I remember as my first experiment, my dad built me this big hood in my workroom, and it was just a great experience. And I hope every child has the opportunity to be interested in science like that.
As the Children's Science Center works to establish a full-scale museum, they operate an innovative Museum Without Walls by bringing traveling exhibits to dozens of schools and other venues throughout Northern Virginia to provide interactive STEM experience firsthand. Wherever it goes, the Museum Without Walls is eagerly awaited by both children and teachers.
The Children's Science Center would really help because it shows that science is not just reading a textbook, but doing hands-on activities to learn even more. And it's just fun.
The community's insatiable demand for the Museum Without Walls is proof of the great need for a dedicated educational resource for hands-on learning in the area. Children need to touch. Children need to experience the joys of math and science firsthand. If we don't grab a hold of their attention now, we cannot fulfill our long-term economic potential as a community or a nation.
The mobile labs have done a great job, but that's the labs going to the children. Having a permanent place where families can come and explore anytime they want is very valuable. So I think it is time. It's time that we have a place where we can provide that exposure.
In order to meet this strong demand, Children's Science Center is embarking on a 3-phase expansion. Phase 1 will increase the outreach to more children in preschools, elementary schools, and youth leaders with the Museum Without Walls. Phase 2 is the opening of its first operating site, located in Fair Oaks Mall, a popular high-traffic, family-oriented mall with over 24 million shopper visits a year. This 5,400 square foot facility will serve over 60,000 annual visitors. Phase 3 is the building of a full-scale, STEM-focused, accessible children's museum with activities and exhibits centered around core science and technology areas such as the universe, the earth, the city, transportation, information technology, and the human body. Located in the developing community of Kincora in Sterling, Virginia, this 50,000 square foot museum will serve over 300,000 annual visitors, including school groups. While supporting the formal education system, the Children's Science Center will provide an essential addition to our informal education infrastructure and a place for quality family time. And it will be a museum for kids, by kids. Children's Science Center is committed to involving children at every step of the design process.
We don't have a science museum in Northern Virginia, and I think that has to change. It's about education and kids learning about STEM so that they could lead better lives when they're adults.
The great thing about a science center is you don't know what the result is going to be when you bring a child there. And some children that you may not have thought would be interested may find a particular corner or a particular thing that fascinates them, and you don't know what's going to spark a child's interest.
Childhood is but a moment in the span of a lifetime. Let's plant the seeds of curiosity in these young minds, nurture them, and watch them grow into the innovators and explorers of tomorrow. The Children's Science Center. It's time to grow.